Everyone, today we're still with the woman at the well. The woman said to him, "Sir, give me this living water so that I will never be thirsty and will never need to come back here to draw water." Jesus said to her, "Well, go and get your husband and come back here." The woman replied, "I don't have a husband." "You're right to say I don't have a husband," Jesus answered. "You've had 5 husbands, and the man you're with now isn't your husband. You've spoken the truth." The woman said, "Sir, I see that you are a prophet. Our ancestors worshipped on this mountain, but you and your people say it's necessary to worship in Jerusalem." Jesus said to her, "Believe me, woman, the time is coming when you and your people will worship the Father, neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem. You and your people worship what you don't know. We worship what we know because salvation is from the Jews, but the time is coming and is now here when true worshipers will worship in spirit and truth. The Father looks for those who worship him in this way. God is spirit, and it's necessary to worship God in spirit and truth." The woman said, "Sir, I know the Messiah is coming, the one who is called the Christ. When he comes, he'll teach everything to us." Jesus said to her, "I am the one who speaks with you." Wow, isn't it nice that Jesus would talk to this sinful, unfaithful, promiscuous woman? Is that the narrative that you've always heard when this story gets told? I know I have. Well, the problem with that is the text doesn't actually say any of that. We are actually continuing to pass the same sort of judgment on her that she was experiencing in her own lifetime. In the ancient world, women had almost no control over their own agency, sexually or otherwise. They didn't decide who they married. They couldn't decide to get divorced or initiate that process. So the fact that she's had 5 husbands and her current man won't marry her really shows more of how she's been used than how she sinned. Jesus treats her as a person, which doesn't seem to have happened much in her life. She's an equal worthy of deep spiritual discussion. Now, when we get into those things, the debates usually get caught up in, well, who's the most important? Who is right? Where and how are we supposed to worship? And underneath it all, we're really asking, who do we think God loves best? Because it's obviously me, right? Well, the answer in the time was God cares most, and the people that are most right are probably Jewish men, and they're supposed to worship in Jerusalem. Jesus does talk a little about that, but his ultimate statement about spirit and truth declares that type of debate really is irrelevant. Even though we've even taken that specific phrase, in truth, to mean those who worship correctly, right? Like the way that I have understood it. Truth, the way that John tends to talk about it, it's more like, think about the way you talk about someone being a true friend, right? You're not saying that they are correct. You're talking about how they're sincere, how they're reliable. Something about them speaks to your soul. That's the trueness that Jesus is pointing to here. God just transcends our boundaries and the abuses that we may think define us. Hearts that truly seek divine grace and love, they find it. And she did. This woman saw it for the good news it was. So may we have the spirit to seek what is most true.